Today I'll show you how to make a beautiful floral design in Affinity Designer. Let's get started. The first thing we need to do is make a single flower petal. To do this, we'll first make a circle. So get out the ellipse tool, and then hold down Shift while clicking and dragging to make a perfect circle. Next, we'll duplicate the circle, which you can do by pressing Ctrl-J on a PC or Command-J on a Mac. Then with the Move tool, we'll bring the duplicate circle over a little bit so that the two circles are partially overlapping. Then we'll select both of the circles and use the intersect operation. This operation will delete everything except for the area where the two circles are overlapping. So we've now created our first flower petal, which we can duplicate to make the rest of the flower. But first, I'm going to resize and position this petal. Okay, now before we duplicate this petal, we need to change its rotation point, because right now the petal just rotates around itself, but we need it to rotate around a circle. To change the layer's rotation point, we first need to click on the little crosshair icon in the context toolbar. So now we can see the petal's rotation point. All we need to do now is move the rotation point to the bottom of the petal. Now when we rotate the petal, it will rotate around in a circle. Okay, now we're ready to duplicate our flower petal and rotate the duplicate petals to make an entire flower. But how much should we rotate each petal? Well, there's actually a little trick to this. We need to rotate each petal by a factor of 360 so that the duplicate petals will fit perfectly in a circle. And an easy way to do that is to use the Transform panel. To get out this panel, go up to Window, and then down to Transform. With this panel, we can enter an exact value for how much we want to rotate an object. But first, we need to make a duplicate flower petal to rotate, which we can do by pressing Command or Ctrl-J. Okay, now we can type into the rotation box 360 divided by however many petals you want your flower to have. I want my flower to have 18 petals, so I'll do 360 divided by 18, and then I'll press Enter to confirm my rotation. And just like that, Affinity solved our simple math problem and rotated the duplicate petal by 20 degrees. Now here comes the fun part. If we continue to duplicate the flower petal, Affinity will rotate each petal by an additional 20 degrees. This little trick is called Powered Duplicate, and it's one of my favorite features in Affinity Designer. It lets you change the size, position, or rotation of a duplicate object, and then Affinity will repeat that change over and over as you make more duplicates. Now that we've finished making our flower petals, we don't need the Transform panel anymore, so I'll close out of it. And now, with all our setup completed, it's finally time to see the magic happen. I'll click and drag to select all of the flower petals, and then we just need to lower their opacities to 50%. And just like that, we have a beautiful floral design. But before we finish this video, I have a few last tips for you. First, let's put all of these petals into a group, which you can do by pressing Command or Ctrl-G. Now we can have a little fun and add a gradient to our flower. To do this, we'll get out the Fill tool and then click and drag to make a gradient. Then you can pick whatever colors you want for each end of the gradient. My only tip is to choose very bright, vibrant colors. I think a gradient really adds some pizzazz to this design. But if you really want your colors to pop, I also recommend that you add a dark background. To do this, we can make a black rectangle and then place it at the bottom of our layers. And finally, I want to mention that you can use an HSL adjustment to improve your flower's colors. To add this adjustment, just select the flowers group, and then choose HSL from your adjustment layers. With this adjustment, I like to play around with the hue slider to quickly see what other color combinations would look like. Adding an HSL adjustment is a quick and easy way to try out new colors so that you can find the ones that work best for your design. And with that, we are done. Thanks for watching, my friends, and I'll see you in the next Affinity Revolution tutorial.